My chosen child, this moment does not come to you by chance, but like an appointed meeting that has been preserved for a very long time in the high and hidden realm. I, Michael, stand beside you not to frighten you, but to place upon your shoulders a gentle yet powerful reminder. Step into complete silence, not because there is emptiness within you, nor because your voice has no value, but because the most precious things within you have been drained many times when you spoke too soon before the appointed hour. There are things entrusted to you not so they may be explained to everyone, but so they may be cherished in secrecy until they are mature enough, bright enough, and steady enough to shine by their own strength. I have seen your weariness from having to defend yourself in places that were never prepared to understand you. I have seen you try to express a noble calling through human words, then grieve when others heard it wrongly, touched it wrongly, judged it wrongly, or diminished what you had treasured with all your heart. Beloved child, not everyone who stands near you has the capacity to recognize what I am placing within you. Not every open door is a place you should enter. Not every listening ear is pure enough to receive what is still being nurtured in silence. Therefore, I do not come to rebuke you for the times you have spoken too much. I come to cover you, to pull you away from unnecessary exhaustion, and to teach you how to guard the flame being kindled in the deepest hidden place within you. The silence I am calling you into is not isolation, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is a cloak of protection. It is a clear sky where new things can be formed without being disturbed by the hurried hands of the world. You do not need to prove that you are being led. You do not need to explain why you have changed, why you have stepped away from certain conversations, why you no longer answer every provocation, every misunderstanding, every doubtful glance. There are victories that begin when you no longer react as you once did. There are doors that only open when you have learned to be still before what does not yet need to be announced. So let my words soak into you like a gentle light that cannot be extinguished. Remain completely silent in this season. Not silent because you are afraid, but silent because you are being prepared. Not silent because you have lost, but because what is coming needs a clean space in which to grow. What is being woven around you cannot be born from haste, and it cannot be protected by constant explanations. Let me guard what you cannot yet speak. Let the Most High complete what you cannot yet see in full. And within that stillness, you will realize that the heavens have not forgotten you. They are only bending low, listening to the first rhythm of a new chapter drawing near. Before I continue speaking to you about anything else, I want you to truly stop. Not merely slow down a little, not merely listen with a portion of your attention, but lay every disturbance down in this moment. Beloved child, if there's anything pulling your eyes, your thoughts, or your breath elsewhere, gently leave it outside the door of this moment. What is about to be placed within your heart is not a passing sound, nor is it a word to be heard and then forgotten. It carries gentleness, but it also carries sacred weight, and sacred things always require a worthy silence in order to be received. So whether you are sitting in a quiet room or standing amid the unfinished motions of life, I want you to return to the rhythm of your own breath. Inhale deeply and slowly, as though you are allowing every tension to leave your shoulders, every worry to settle, every noise within you to grow smaller. I do not come to force you to understand everything at once, nor do I come to make you afraid. I come as a sent guardian to remind you that there are words that can only touch you when you are willing to be still long enough to hear. Because what you are about to receive is not merely an ordinary stream of messages. The information of the world can pass across your mind while you are still distracted. But the word placed before you today must go deeper than hurried thoughts. It desires to touch the hidden place within you, the place that has grown tired from carrying itself for too long, the place that has longed many times to rest but has not dared to let go. You have tried to be strong, tried to understand, tried to endure. But now, I want you to know that peace is not a reward for the perfect. It is a gift for the one who knows how to open the door. Therefore, do not rush through this moment as you have rushed through many other signs before. There are moments on your journey that do not come by accident. They are arranged like a small lamp lit along a dark path. Not to blind you, but to help you recognize that you are still being guided. Perhaps you do not yet understand why this word has found you today. But there is a place within you that has already recognized its call. That place does not need noise to confirm it. It only needs you to stop resisting, stop doubting, and stop believing that you must solve everything by your own strength. I speak to you with mercy, but also with the solemnity of love. Be fully present. Do not surrender this moment to haste. Do not allow the calls outside to steal what is being sown within you. Let your heart become soft again. Let your breath become slow again. Let the presence of God cover you like warm light over a land that has waited too long for rain. When you truly stop, you will realize that what you need is not always another explanation, but a gentle touch from heaven, a quiet confirmation that you have not been forgotten, that you have not been lost, and that you no longer need to keep walking in confusion. Stay in this moment, beloved child, because sometimes the door of healing does not open through noise, but through a trusting stillness. I want to begin with that very exhaustion. Child, because I know it is not imaginary, nor is it a weakness you invented in the hours when your heart grew heavy. You have tried so hard to be understood, not because you hunger for praise, and certainly not because you need others to place a crown upon your worth, but because within you there is something true, something sown in light, something you cannot deny, even though the world around you has not been still enough to recognize it. And when a person must hold on to that truth amid doubtful eyes, cold questions, and hasty judgments, loneliness no longer remains a passing moment. It becomes a heavy garment laid upon your shoulders through many long seasons. But beloved child, I have seen every time you opened your mouth to explain your calling with all carefulness, only to receive an empty silence in return. I have seen you search for the gentlest words to express the deepest thing. Yet the one before you still listened, with ears that had already been closed. I know your fatigue from having to defend the sacred thing placed within you before those who never had the language to understand it, who never had the inner space to contain it, and who never learned how to cherish what stands beyond their familiar habits. Some conversations have taken too much peace from you. Some prayers have left you poured out to the very end, and yet, right afterward, because of pain, fear, and the desire to defend yourself, you spoke things you should have kept in hiddenness. Even so, I do not come to blame you. I come to place a gentle hand upon that weariness and remind you, not every true thing must be explained immediately, and not everyone has the right to enter the deepest place within you. Silence once felt dangerous to you, because you had been misunderstood for too long. You feared that if you did not speak, others would write your story falsely. But listen to me carefully. Truth does not disappear because you stop defending yourself. Light does not go out because you no longer try to prove that it shines. And what has been entrusted to you does not become small simply because others have not yet recognized it. Sometimes spiritual maturity is not found in saying more, but in placing what is precious into the hands of the one who preserves it. Then continuing forward with a heart that remains tender but is no longer easily pulled into fruitless battles. So from this day forward, learn to rest from the need to be understood by everyone. Let your words become clearer, fewer, and heavier with peace. Let your presence speak in place of long self-defenses. And when you feel the urge to explain once again to someone who only wants to misunderstand, stop, take a deep breath, and remember that I stand nearer to you than all the noise out there. I know what you carry. I know why you have cried. I know the things you cannot fully put into words. You do not need to drain yourself trying to persuade doors that have not opened. Hold on to your purity. Walk gently. And let this season teach you that silence placed in the right place is not defeat, but a sacred form of guarding what is noble and growing within you. The silence you fear may not be a sign of failure, but the doorway where you learn to hand the outcome back to the one who loved you before you knew how to defend yourself. I know, my child, that there are times when silence makes your heart ache, as though you are letting others misunderstand you, letting judgments remain uncorrected, letting your story be told by a voice that does not belong to truth. You want to explain, to prove, to raise your voice so someone will know that you are not weak, not mistaken as they imagined, not worthy of being forgotten in the dark corner of misunderstanding. But hear me gently, not every battle is won by words, and not every truth must be dragged into the light by your own hands in haste. There are seasons when silence is not retreat, but standing firm in a higher level of peace. When you stop chasing every gaze, every rumor, every evaluation, you do not lose your place. You are simply stepping out of the old circle where you once believed your worth depended on whether others understood you or not. I have seen the times you tried to make things clear, but the more you spoke, the more tired you became, and the more you explained, the deeper you were pulled into an argument that produced no light. Therefore, sometimes the Father allows stillness to cover you, not to bury your voice, but to heal the part within you that has been bracing itself against misunderstanding for far too long. That stillness is like a gentle hand upon your shoulder, reminding you that you do not need to rebuild your honor through tension, because what belongs to truth will not be lost simply because you have not yet spoken it aloud. So do not confuse silence with disappearance. You are still present, only present in a deeper, brighter, and steadier way. You do not give up when you refuse to answer hurt with hurt. You are maturing. You do not lose when you do not immediately correct every false word. You are learning to trust a greater hand. You are not weak when you choose peace instead of reaction. You are entering a strength that noise cannot understand. I want you to know that there are outcomes not written by argument, but by trust, by endurance, by the days when you still live purely, still love, still do what is right, even when no one has seen it yet. Beloved child, let me teach you to distinguish between silence born of fear and silence born of wisdom. Silence born of fear makes you shrink back, blame yourself, and believe you are no longer worthy. But silence born of wisdom allows you to lift your head in peace, knowing that your timing is not in the hands of those who only see one small part of your journey. When you hand that pen back to the Father, you do not lose your right to be heard. You simply stop forcing yourself to write the ending with tears and exhaustion. Rest in that gentle light. My child, there are answers being prepared where you cannot see. And when the hour comes, truth will step forth, not noisily, but with power, clarity, and enough purity for you to understand that today's silence was never emptiness. It was the sacred room where the outcome was being formed. Before I show you what this truly looks like, I want you to understand that this message is not just a few passing words of comfort, but a journey placed before you from beginning to end, so you may recognize why silence can sometimes feel so heavy that you think you cannot enter it. Beloved child, there have been times when you tried to sit still, tried to settle down, tried to stop reacting. But inside you, it was as though a rushing river refused to stop flowing. You thought you lacked strength, lacked faith, or were not good enough to receive peace. But I speak to you with gentleness and clarity. That is not a sign of weakness. There are things happening deep within your nervous system, where your body has grown accustomed to warning, accustomed to tension, accustomed to protecting itself before you even understand what is taking place. Therefore, when silence feels like a room too wide, too empty, too frightening, do not rush to condemn yourself. Silence does not always come like a peaceful field. Sometimes it comes like a threshold you must learn to cross little by little. I am not here to pressure you into becoming calm immediately, but to teach you to recognize what is operating within, so you may stop fighting against yourself and begin to be restored in clarity. When you understand why your heart panics before stillness, you will no longer call that difficulty failure, but will see it as a place that needs care, guidance, and healing through patience. In this message, I will place in your hands a pattern I call the 3 silences. Not every silence is the same. Child, there is a silence that helps you stop reacting, a silence that helps you hear clearly what is crying out deep within you, and a silence that allows your inner order to be restored. Each kind of silence will require a different way of entering, a different surrender, and it will also produce a different result. When you recognize what kind of silence you are being invited into, you will no longer be lost among tangled emotions, nor will you force yourself to be peaceful in the way others expect. Stay with this whole journey, beloved child, because each part will connect to the next, like bright stones guiding you along a gentle path. I will not give you vague words, nor will I leave you standing alone before what you do not yet know how to name. I will show you a sequence of steps meant specifically for those who are in a season of inner movement like the one you are in now, from recognition to settling, from settling to restoration, and from restoration to a new steadiness. Everything you are about to hear is not meant to frighten you, but to bring you back to a deeper peace, where you no longer need to run from silence, but can enter it as though stepping into a place guarded by light. The first signs often come very quietly, beloved child, and because they are so quiet, many people pass by without recognizing them. But I tell you that this time you will not miss them. because the awakening taking place within you is not loud like thunder, but gentle like morning light slipping through a doorway. There are changes that do not begin with a great event, but with the moment you no longer tremble at someone's silence as you once did. Perhaps you still hurt, still remember, still feel a dull ache within your heart. But the miracle is that you no longer hurry after them begging to be seen. No longer rush to lower yourself just to receive a little tenderness from the one who once held your emotions in their hands. In the past, a voice turning cold was enough to make your whole day heavy. A distant glance was enough to make you wonder what you had done wrong. A long silence was enough to rob you of peace, as though the breath within you depended on their approval. But now, you are beginning to recognize something very sacred. You can be sad without falling apart. You can miss someone without turning back. You can love without binding yourself again to the hand that once wounded you. That is not hardness of heart, child, nor is it pride. It is restoration growing in the deepest hidden place within you. Quiet but enduring. Gentle but no longer weak. Merciful but no longer self-abandoning. I have seen the nights when you tried to understand why you always had to be the one holding on. Always the one apologizing first. Always the one quietly enduring just to preserve a connection that no longer brought light. And in those nights, grace began its work. Each hook of fear that once pierced your heart is being removed. Each invisible cord that once bound you to anxiety is being loosened. You are learning a purer kind of love, to love without begging, to forgive without being required to return, to care without handing the control of your peace over to anyone. So do not blame yourself if lately your heart has become calmer before the things that once made you panic. This does not mean you are growing distant from the light. It means you are drawing nearer to the dignity the Most High placed within you. When a person can no longer pull you down simply by their attitude, that is a sign the chains have weakened. When you no longer need their voice to confirm your worth, that is a sign the wound has begun to close. And when you can bless them in silence and still keep walking your own path, that is when you know the healing within you has become stronger than the attachment that once held you back. This is why the old reactions within you no longer rise as powerfully as before. My beloved child, you may still feel the touch of hurt, still hear injustice echoing like a heavy sound in your chest, still recognize the tightening within when someone speaks words that are ignorant, rushed, or careless. But before you can answer with the old habit, before sharp words can leave your lips, a holy pause has been placed in between. That pause is not weakness, nor does it mean you have lost your voice. It is a sign of grace working quietly within you. The gentle hand of God placing a guardian at the doorway of your words, so that what comes out of you is no longer a wounded reaction, but wisdom that is being led. Understand this: not every quick reply is right, and not every silence is defeat. There were times when you thought you had to explain immediately, defend yourself immediately, make others understand your pain immediately. But I am teaching you something deeper. There are battles that do not need to be won by a loud voice, but must be preserved by steadfast peace. The old version of you often stepped forward before the light had time to guide the way. But the new version within you is learning to wait, learning to listen, learning to discern when to speak, when to stop, and when to simply allow truth to stand firm without requiring your strength to hold it up. That is not slowness. My child, it is spiritual maturity growing through every patient breath you take. So, when a conversation naturally closes, when a door of argument no longer opens as it once did, do not quickly think you have missed your chance to be heard. Sometimes that very closure is protection. Sometimes the fact that you no longer want to prolong an exhausting dialogue is a sign that you have been lifted out of old cycles. I am teaching you not to place your worth in who understands you, who agrees with you, or who validates your pain. You do not need to allow every unwise word to pull you back into a place from which you have already been led out. Let your heart remain soft but not fragile, strong but not harsh, pure but not in need of proof. I am with you in every moment when you choose peace instead of eruption, waiting instead of haste, kindness instead of answering hurt with hurt. And remember, when the old reaction no longer controls you, that is not loss. It is evidence that a new person, gentler, wiser, and freer, is being formed within you. You once longed for clear closure from them, but within silence, the Most High began gently closing the emotional door inside you. I know you once hoped for one final conversation, one complete explanation, one moment that would make every broken piece easier to understand. So your heart would no longer have to wonder why, and no longer have to search through memories for things that were never spoken. You once thought that if they would only say one more sentence, admit one more thing, or return with a more honest attitude, then you would finally be able to have peace. But beloved child, sometimes peace does not come from the answer of the one who hurt you, but from no longer giving them the power to decide the calm within you. Then you began to notice something strange. The urge to hear that explanation slowly faded, not because you became colder, nor because you weakly gave up, but because grace has been quietly separating you from the old loops. Before, even a small sign from them could make you confused. Even a silence could make you blame yourself. Even a returning memory could pull you into a wave of waiting and hoping. But now a sacred distance is being built within you. That distance is not meant to make you bitter, but to protect you. I tell you that when a loop survives only because of your reaction, the day you stop feeding it with longing, explanations, and lowering yourself in order to be heard, it will begin to lose its life. That is the sign of a shift. My child, you are no longer being pulled by every call of fear. You no longer have to chase a door that heaven has begun to close because of mercy toward you. Some things do not end through words, but through the peace that grows little by little in your deepest hidden place. Some stories do not need another chapter of dialogue, because the Most High has written you a way out through awakening, self-respect, and the gentle light of release. Therefore, when fear tells you to act immediately, to send a message, to ask again, to search for the reason at all costs, but the pure voice within you tells you to wait, be still, and keep your dignity. Listen to that peace. I am standing nearer to you than you realize. I do not come to condemn you for having once waited. I come to remind you that you do not need to return to the place that drained you in order to be healed. Let that door close softly, because not every silence is abandonment. Some silences are heaven's hand, leading you out of what is no longer worthy of your light. Waiting can make you feel as though you are being rejected, especially when your heart is tired and your eyes long for a clear sign. But beloved child, let me gently remind you that not every quiet space is a closed door, and not every delay means you have been forgotten. There are seasons when I keep you still, not to hurt you, but to protect you from stepping into a choice born of panic. When you are eager to grasp something merely to calm the anxiety within you, I quietly place a hand of light before that path, not to block blessing, but to protect you from what has not yet been prepared for your peace. Listen to me carefully. Your anxiety does not make heaven late, and your confusion does not mean I have stopped working. Some of the holiest works are completed in places no human eye can see. A seed does not need to make a sound to prove that it is growing. It rests in the soil, silently splitting its shell, silently taking root, silently reaching toward the light. In the same way, there are things in your life that I am nurturing beneath the surface of the days. You only see the soil remaining still, but I see the young shoot beginning to move. You only hear silence, but I hear the rhythm of a new season being formed. So do not be quick to call silence absence. And do not be quick to see a quiet hallway as the place where you have been left alone. There are rooms that must be prepared before you enter them, people who must be arranged, doors that must open at the right time, so that when you pass through, you will not tremble in doubt, but stand firm under protection. I know you want evidence now, want to see the sign now, want to hear the answer now. But child, the greatest evidence is sometimes not what appears before your eyes, but the peace that is still being kept within you, even while the outside has not yet changed. Let this waiting teach you to become softer, deeper, and wiser. Do not let weariness turn you into someone hasty, and do not let fear cause you to grasp something smaller than what I am preparing. I have not left you in the silence. I am guarding every step, refining every desire, healing every trembling place within your heart. When the time comes, you will understand why I did not allow you to go sooner. And then you will no longer say that you were delayed. You will know that you were preserved.